But see, this is so important. This is a lesson that I'm learning now in real time. Like, the parts of us that wish we could copy paste, let's say we experience success in a particular way, or this project that went really well, or this piece that went really well. And it's like, okay, how do I recreate that? How could I do that again? And then the artist in us is like, there's no way actually to ever recreate anything that we do.
Shalom, friends. Welcome to Orange Socks, a podcast celebrating Jewish creativity. I'm your host, Yocheved Moully, inviting you to join me in exploring the soul of Jewish expression. Shalom, friends, and welcome to the beautiful home of Yocheved Sidof. Yocheved, thank you for having me somewhere up in the country, upstate. This place is beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, I got out of the car and I took a deep breath and to slow down. It's good to get out of the city and slow down.
Yeah, it is. It is. Welcome.
Thank you. My problem with living out of the city in New Jersey is that I'm not as intense in the city, and therefore I don't have that need for release to the same degree, but then I miss out on wonderful things like this.
Yeah, well, this is new for my family and for me as well, so it's been beautiful to lean into this.
Yeah, very nice. And you're opening this up to other people.
Yeah, this is Ohmek upstate. This is a dream of ours to host and have nature and space as medicine, and really have a place for me to play in teaching and meditation and healing work and being creative. And so it's a work in progress.
Beautiful.
It's a blank, not so blank canvas.
Full of trees and mud and grass and water
forests and barns and gardens and ponds and ideas. And
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I know the address now.
You do.
I'll be back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. But this isn't your first foray into, this isn't your first project at all. Not your first foray into creativity. We met, do you remember what year it was? We met a long time ago. A few lifetimes ago.
I was doing Can't Touch This. I was doing the documentary with Holly Miller.
Yes.
So at least 15, 16 years ago.
So I have you saved in my phone as Yocheved videographer or video artist or filmmaker or whatever it is. I kept that. I
love that you kept that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I met you, I felt like I'm meeting someone, because you were already.
I was still serving as a rabbi. It was actually the Jewish Renaissance Fair.
Yes.
That itself is a thing of the past.
Yeah.
But it's something that collectively we should bring back. But it's a Jewish space of Jewish music and art and a bunch of artists having different booths. So I had a booth showing and sharing my work, and we
had a great conversation.
We
connected right away about creativity and being a Jewish artist, and I remember
and here we are, still 15 years later, still
friends.
at it. Yeah. Still at it, both each. So you were a filmmaker, or at least you saw yourself perhaps as a filmmaker. Or what has been your relationship with creativity? Some people learn a particular skill. They go to school for, photography or videography or oil portraits, and they see the world through that lens. And then others.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I've thought about this different times. Like, what is my relationship to the arts and creativity, and where did it begin? So simply, through one lens, my father is an Oriental rug salesman.
Really?
He has the most exquisite eye, and he's not afraid of putting patterns together and doing things that are truly wild. And I grew up jumping on piles of rugs and listening to him sell.
Wow.
So and all these rugs,
All these rugs take on so much more meaning. I didn't
Yeah,
I do
in
it-
fact,
it's
behind us,
per-
this is actually a pillowcase that my grandfather in Iran, that my father gave me. So, yeah,
Wow, okay.
there's something about being saturated, which I'm sure you can relate to in like beauty and just what that
yeah.
does. So there was an eye for pattern, there's a discerning for the finer things. And to this day, I cannot pass by like the fake rugs in IKEA. Like my my ancestors cry. It's like it's just this sensitivity to what's handmade, to what's
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, I got into vintage shopping. Before it was like really cool
Where did you grow up?
in Minnesota, but I went to high school in
Cool.
Pittsburgh. Yeah. And I would go to these really grungy vintage shops and like the 1970s polyester shirts with the big collars. And I started mixing interesting clothes, interesting accessories. Not too avant-garde, not wild, but there was something that was coming through my dress. But if you would have asked me then, like, do you think you're an artist? Do you think you're creative? I probably would have said no.
Right.
I didn't play an instrument.
Right.
I never learned how to draw.
Right.
I think I had some chush that probably could have been cultivated in drawing, but there was no hobby.
Right.
And when I left graduate school, so when I was 21, and I was really focused on a career in psychology, I happened to be walking downtown in Union Square Park. And there was this really big film school that was super like famous then in the city. It was like one of these fast filmmaking certificate programs.
Right.
Film forum.
Right. Okay. And they advertise in the subway and
Yeah,
everywhere.
and I saw it and I was like, wow, I want to tell people stories. Like the thing that pulled me to psychology, and I was a PhD student in clinical psych, this meld of Hasidic mysticism, being a woman, being attuned, like allowing people's voices to come through. I felt that like coming into film, like that's actually where I want to land.
Right.
And at that point, I had started dabbling in photography.
That was my
Yeah.
That's my first love. That was my first creative.
My father gave me his old Canon from college.
Yeah.
Film camera.
Yep.
And I remember I was traveling in Turkey that summer. I had a like digital, no, it wasn't digital. I don't know, this is like the late 90s. Maybe it was film.
Yeah, it was way before digital.
It was film, yeah.
There was no digital.
And I started like, I remember the moment, I call you Moully. I remember the moment, Moully.
Yeah,
I'm like, I took a close-up of my feet. I was wearing these Old Navy flip-flops that I had traveled all over Turkey in, and I took a close-up. I took a close-up of my reflection in the airplane window. And that was a really big summer for me. Like something started to click in seeing myself.
See the world.
Yeah, seeing myself and seeing the world in a particular way. And so that was the photography, and then this filmmaking, and then there was this convergence. And even when I was like deep in the filmmaking world, I could never call myself an artist.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it was like something there, but like that doesn't belong to me, or it just never occurred to you to call yourself an artist, or
even now,
or art
like,
belongs to a different.
Yeah, like even now, like I mean, yes, there's so many iterations of me, and we could talk about them, and one could argue, yes, Yocheved, you're definitely an artist, and it feels so. It's like Kodesh HaKodashim. It feels like aspirational. It feels so sacred in me that, I don't know, something just, yeah, I have a reverence
For the arts.
for the artist.
Right, right.
And yes, we're all artists.
Right.
And yes, we're all creating. And yet there's something about the actual name that I feel.
Wow, that's super interesting. When I transitioned to calling myself an artist, or to realizing, because when I was a photographer as a kid, and that, I developed photography, that was my form of expression. I was a creative, but I wasn't an artist. Again, but then at some point, it's like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I am an artist.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'm not, but maybe I am. I was like, what? I don't need anyone's permission.
Right.
There's no external certificate. Now you're a doctor. Now you're a lawyer.
Exactly.
It's like, now you're an artist. It's like, no, you're an artist when you're ready to
claim it,
and step into it, and claim it. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is part of my claiming.
All right. If I can vouch, if you get signatures, if you get 100 signatures,
if
you'll get
will
more
call
on
me
my...
an artist, then I will gladly.
If I have you saved as a filmmaker,
Yes,
I can update the.
Yeah, those were really interesting days. I remember I always fumbled with the audio equipment. The tech of it was was daunting to me. And you just clip the mic, or I clip this magnet. But when I was in film, it was very heavy. All the
today's technology is incredible, and I keep my setup very, very low, very lean, and the bar of entry is very low, because to be able to do this and keep doing this. I was talking to someone else that they had started a podcast and they got 10 episodes in, but their production value was so high, and they set up a whole. It was like, to be able to recreate that constantly is too hard, and therefore the bar of entry, and then you end up doing nothing. So
that's a really interesting lesson in creativity, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What I loved about it, not the tech part, but just like the art of deeply listening. Like, there was something about sitting across from somebody and really feeling them, and the story emerging, and then the editing.
Right.
And then the editing was just where it all happened.
It's so interesting. The little bit of that working for 10 years in Chabad, part of what I got to lean towards my creativity. And so I did the annual Chabad dinners, the videos, and like the editing was, the shooting was the exciting, and the editing was the chore. It's interesting that you saw it differently. The editing really is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
The editing is really where you get to tell their story.
Yeah, and it's like avodas habirurim, right? It's not like the work of discernment, like getting to feel what actually holds the story, holds the moment, holds the shot that holds.
That makes, right.
Yeah, and so and it was such a chore. Like, I remember, this film that I worked on for 3 years on Shomer Negia, Can't Touch This. My daughter Mayan, who's now 17, was like in the high chair next to me.
Right.
As I was, and hours and hours of fine-tuned editing. And
yeah. So where is that? Where is that? Where is that film
that
right
is
now?
under passcode on Vimeo.
Is that something that you would release, that you'd share?
It's not mine to release in that way. It was following a couple that is now divorced.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And so there's.
That's true.
And but Tali and I worked together for 3 years on it, and when I was immersed in that film, and we had a chance to screen parts of it at Chabad houses and festivals and Julicious, and if you remember Julicious, at that point, my dream was, I'm going to revolutionize how we teach our kids about sex. Like, I'm going to revolutionize how the religious world touches this topic. And I interviewed many frum kids who grew up like in the system, and somehow breaking Shomer Negia was catastrophic for them. They didn't have a healthy way of really contending.
Right.
They were taught, everything or nothing.
Right.
And so the loss in a way of that project, although of course it made sense. They moved and they got divorced, and didn't make sense. Was not just like 3 years working on a project that didn't see the light of day. It was also just a little bit of this dream, and a little bit of my aspiration of film really being that mechanism, within the Orthodox community that could really shift conversation.
So when you realized circumstance created that film was never going to be finished and never really be shared, was there a thought, like, was that the end of filmmaking, or was that the end of, or did other thing, like, could that same film have been made with a different couple?
Right.
Was that message still necessary to be shared?
Yeah.
Or was it just, that was the end of an era and that moved on, and you moved on to other things? And
Well, what happened was, while I was in the film and being so committed on that documentary, I had a business of nonprofit filmmaking, and I was working for like Chabad houses and Beis Chana for 7 years, and that basically dwindled, as did a lot of my photography work. But Talia and I, including 2 other families, we started Lamplighters. And
so that
yeah,
led right
and
in.
my son and her two boys who are now like singing, it's
Right.
adorable, were part of that inaugural class.
Okay.
And so, like, Hashem is the ultimate artist, right? Like, I kind of was shepherded into
Towards
a new era.
a new era. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you look at a camera now? Do you with nostalgia, with is there an emotional relationship, or is it?
Oh, for sure there is. Also, like, now, I mean, if you've been to my home in Brooklyn or out here, like, I feel very passionate about interior design, and I'm like that. Now this is a place where that sort of the visual artist in me comes through. I have a very discerning eye, and I love bringing spaces together. So that part is still lives in me, and yeah, I look at it with nostalgia, but like I wouldn't go back there.
Right.
It's kind of like it's an old friend that will
Yep.
never leave me, and
Right.
finds other ways to visit, but not in that form.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I've evolved in my own work. Continue to come on certain things, like, yeah, that was good for the time, and like I have a series of ritual objects. I wanted to create 10 in the series. I created 3. So yes, now could I go and create the other 7? Maybe, but that's it. That time had passed.
Right.
3 of them are made. The world knows that there's 3 of them. So, like, okay, they're a
Right.
series to themselves. A part of there was part of then, and then we keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's a very delicate dance, that particular dance. Like, I can feel it in my life now, and like the balance between knowing when to let go and also kind of sticking with.
Right.
And I think it's tricky. I don't know if there's like one recipe. It's tricky.
No, yeah, it definitely has to be personal, and definitely has to, and then it's also the other part of that is new shiny things.
Right, exactly.
So I have, thank God, an unlimited number of ideas that I'd love to get to. Sometimes I say that maybe I don't have enough days left in my life to do all the ideas that I already have written down in my book, let alone all the ideas that are yet to come.
I know you have amazing ideas.
So okay, some things we got them partially and we shipped, and I think, I mean, when you're involved in something and you stay with it, I think the right, one of I was thinking about it recently. One of my more creative pieces that really pushed me was I did Sirus Omer 1 year.
I remember that. Yeah.
Abstract
I remember
Omer.
that.
And there was like the early days of Facebook.
I remember
And
that.
every day of Sirus Omer, I created a painting. And there's the colors, the Sfirot, the 7 Sfirot, and then there's the colors according to Kabbalah, there's different opinions, but there's the colors of the Sefirot. And I created an abstract painting every day based on those two colors and based on what I was learning about, each of the Sefirot, each of, the two and their interaction. And that, I pushed myself through it. I mean, there wasn't an option not to finish, but it was, in the beginning was really hard. And then I got into like a lull. And then at the end, I was loving it so much. I didn't want it to end, but it was a very defined 49 days.
Yeah.
And then it was over, and that I didn't come back to it. It wasn't that, okay, every year I'm going to do it again from a different perspective. I was like, okay, that was then, that was great.
But see, this is so important. This is a lesson that I'm learning now in real time. Like, the parts of us that wish we could copy paste, let's say we experience success in a particular way, or this project that went really well, or this piece that went really well. And it's like, okay, how do I recreate that? How could I do that again? And then the artist in us is like, there's no way actually to ever recreate anything that we do. Like, there's fear of being a one-hit wonder, but actually everything is a one-hit wonder. Everything is like individual, and we cannot replicate it, and it's a standalone in some sense.
But if by definition you're looking to replicate something, then it's devoid of a certain amount of authenticity. It's devoid of a certain amount of real creativity.
Yeah.
That it's a carbon copy, and it's a fake. There's a fakeness to it. There's an inauthenticity to it.
I'm remembering your pieces, like your iconic work, right? Of
the old pop art.
Yeah, the pop art that kind of plays on this theme of like something that stays the same and something that can never be translated.
Yeah, but like that was it. That was the work then. And recently, I took some of those images and remixed them and did them as works on paper using spray paint and stencils. And so you could see the through line between that work and the previous work, but it wasn't, doing what I had done. Then there's no growth. There needs to be growth, and so we can come back to the same themes, we can come back to the same ideas, but we're a different person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who you were then, even if you would approach this film again now.
Oh, it'd be completely different.
You'd be completely different.
Yeah,
and to try to fit it in, and you had certain, like, you'd be
completely different.
Compromising yourself or squeezing yourself into, we continue to grow, we continue to evolve.
Absolutely.
So therefore, the way we look at things are different. And even the thought of trying to replicate then, because then was a success, I mean, bands, I'm not that much of a follower of music, but, they have their classics, but then the bands themselves evolve, and the audience may still want the old hit, and they'll pull out the hit for a, on stage and so on, but they evolve. They want to evolve, and they do evolve. And, hopefully the audience comes with them.
Exactly.
Because, they continue to grow. We all, as creatives, continue to grow and evolve.
Yeah.
So what are you talk about lamplighters, or do we end the creativity and all that, or where are you now in your?
Or we could talk. Hold on 1 second. What? Okay, go take a shower and then go do your room. Okay. We can talk about lamplighters if you want. It's up to, you're the interviewer.
This is your story. This is how creativity.
Oh, this is my story.
How creativity has impacted your life, and really the intersection between your Judaism and your creativity. And what I love is that you're not a artist in the box of an artist. That this is what I do, but it flows through all of you.
Yeah, if I feel into lamplighters through the lens of Jewish creativity and artistry, I mean, I well up with so much pride and emotion. Besides just like the creative work of what it means to be a social entrepreneur, somebody starting something grassroots in the community that's different, that's engaging, that's out of the box, and all of that. Besides what it was to be surrounded by kids who were so free, who are free in their learning and in their, I know you visited us many times, and there's just a freedom in these kids.
Yeah, well, you gave the next generation the tools to be
Yeah,
free, the
there
tools
was
to be
something,
artists, the
yeah.
tools to create.
It was amazing. And what's coming through now is we did such amazing work. I'm remembering the gala we did with you that one year. But everything that we created, I always work with artists. Every gala had an artist.
Right.
Lady Robin, Noah Lubin, yourself. There was always a lens that we were the educational model and what was innovative and fresh and not just the artist's work, but the artist,
Right.
the person. I remember one of our first galas, also Mashiach, I saw Levi on the street, Levi Robin. I think I had heard a couple of his songs. I invited him into the school. We had an amazing conversation about education, about his journey. And it's here's this person is a lamplighter. This.
Yeah.
That's how we used to feel it. This is a lamplighter. This is somebody who's really paving the way in their life through the lens of just possibility. And so every opportunity I could to partner with an artist, and we just created beautiful work. I worked with Sar Librev, who's still in marketing and design right now. Our work was just always gorgeous.
Yeah.
Anita Sobel.
You guys were really on the cutting edge.
Yeah, Anita Sobel was an artist that I worked with who did amazing work for us. I still have that pushka that she created. It was just, Yossi Belkin did some, always this pull toward working with soulful, deep lamplighter artists. And so it felt like a creative community. It felt like a community of artists. Many of our parents were artists. And yeah, so when I feel into that as 10 years of my life, yes, innovative education and advocacy and progressive and all that stuff, but also a kind of curator.
Yeah, yeah.
Also a kind of curator. And so much of my time, Moully, was in this space of what's the best story we could tell? What visual or theme really captures and what we're doing? And so, I've spoken to Sarah about this many times. If we had a gallery of the marketing materials that we created for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud. I feel part of our innovation was also, it was a time in Crown Heights where Basil had just opened up.
Right.
And Mimulo had just started their flower shop. And Kay had just started. There was this renaissance in some way in Crown Heights of things that look good and feel good.
Right.
Also.
Right.
We can step out of this kind of
previous generation, really.
Yeah,
The previous
yeah.
generation's aesthetic.
Yeah, and step into a new aesthetic. So that was also a really big part of it.
That's true. It's nothing happens in a vacuum. And when the community was shifting, and
Yeah, absolutely.
what I did, in Creative Soul,
Yes.
that there was a time. It was a time. It was a moment, and it had its impact, and it really did.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, there was first events, but it's just people were just thirsting for more.
I had a piece of my photography. Yeah.
You did.
I
You
did. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we were both part of Chavria.
Yes, and that was the next phase kind of
That
thing.
was the next
It was a
phase.
continuation. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, that all of this grows and evolves and gives way to the next. And none of them are going to last forever. Nothing's, no creative pursuit or institution. Once you're an institution that has to define itself by that longevity is part of it, we're here to stay, then you become very rigid of how do we maintain
Exactly.
this?
Exactly.
And how do we, rather than just
being in the flow.
being in the moment and being in the flow and seeing what we need as individuals, as creatives, as a community, as a collective, and leaning into that and just seeing, Chavria was incredible.
Career was incredible.
Those open mic Fabrengens were...
Yeah, I mean the writing. I mean, I was part of the founding group of writers.
Right.
I remember, this is when Facebook was something.
In its infancy.
And a lot approached me from my Facebook posts. I'm just like, and that, I hadn't thought of myself as a writer. And I love to write. I mean, writing is really an important part of my creativity to this day. And those years writing for Chavria, I remember it was either, I would take turns. Either it was like a vulnerability share.
Right.
I would really speak about something,
Yeah, you did.
I did, yeah. Or it was like something about the Orthodox community. And it was edgy to have a school in Crown Heights and write for Chavria and write what I was writing about. It was so important to me, First, just to exercise my voice and to share like this creative spark.
And to have a platform, to be able to
put
it out there.
Yeah,
to share it.
to share it. And to show that leadership is messy. There's a part of From community, maybe less so now, but for sure then, that really is invested in, one thing I love about how you present yourself is like, okay, but like...
You got paint on my pants.
You have paint on your pants, but that's...
Yeah, that's who I am.
That's life, right?
Yeah,
like we all have paint on our pants in some way, and I felt that. I felt like opening up my heart, talking about the hard places for me within From community. It only brought people closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what a Fabrengen is supposed to be. And a Fabrengen is also this small, intimate place where maybe what happens at Fabrengen doesn't leave a Fabrengen. That like you can be vulnerable here, but we don't have to share our dirty laundry outside. But it's sharing. That it.
Yeah, and there's a way to do it also, which I think this is also like a piece of like the artistry. Like, thank Hashem. I don't know if this is something I figured out along the way or grace or whatever. I feel like there's been a way where I can poke holes, but still firmly stand
right.
within. And I think people feel that. Even in like the depths of my criticizing the From community. Remember we did a video with another creative I worked with, Mendy Pellin and Lipa Schmelzer and Mayor Kay. We did a video for one of our galas, talking about the education system, and I got some flack for it.
Right. But the purpose wasn't to just tear down.
The purpose wasn't to tear down, exactly.
Right.
And I think people felt that. Even with the flack, people felt that.
It's that we can improve. Collectively, there is a better way.
There is a better way,
Collectively, we could do better.
Yeah.
And then showing your way how to do better.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot all these artists that I were. Look at this. Those are...
Curator is also
Curator, right?
Look
at that. It's a new way of curator of souls, yeah.
So when Lamplighter's had its moment, and then it was, what was next for you? How did you... creatively, you were doing so much. I remember when I came to visit, you had so much on your plate.
I remember one time I wrote something about leadership being lonely, or I wrote something that felt like it was a really intense share, and you came to the school. You remember this?
I don't remember. I remember when I had the opportunity to come visit.
You came to like check on me to make sure I was okay. Yeah, it was very,
Well, it's nice of me.
it was very nice of you. It was very meaningful. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so when Lamplighters closed, it was a tsunami of grief. There was the fact that it closed, how it closed, all the layers. You know, it was basically a 2-year decline. It was quite painful, and there's always new learnings that come from that. And also, it was a really hard time in my family for different reasons, and so there was just a lot that I was navigating. And you know, what I needed was to be able to go through this period of kind of like a detox and a shutdown, but in the most restorative way. Like everything had to fall apart.
There's a level of mourning.
Oh, of course, deep mourning. One of my new dreams is I want to create a space for entrepreneurs to process their grief. Because every entrepreneur, every visionary, every founder has experienced loss. And we live in hustle culture, which is like, and we have this also in Chabad and Shluch. It's like, never give up, push, 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 go, go, go. And sometimes we need to feel the falling apart.
Yeah. Well, the other side of it is that, you know, there's the need to fail. You know, that if there isn't the opportunity to fail, then whatever you're building is on eggshells.
100%.
So yeah, so
100%.
then we fail.
Yeah, 100%. So.
And then it falls apart, and then we.
And then we mourn.
And then we mourn.
Then we mourn.
And then we pick ourselves up, and we.
Yeah, and really, like you know, Hashem is so good to me, like so kind, and even especially the hardest shatterings have been the most supportive of my deepest becoming and my deepest growth. I still mourn Lamplighters, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the 10 years. I'm grateful for all the lessons that have come through its ending, and I'm grateful for my life now. You know, I really appreciate my life now. I love what I do. I never knew if I could ever create something again. You know,
Well, I definitely, I don't know if I messaged you this or not, but I appreciated the time that you had for yourself afterwards. Because
I needed it.
Just watching you, it was full on
all the time.
On so many levels.
Yeah.
That there wasn't an opportunity to breathe.
No.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't let go for one moment. I thought I couldn't let go for one moment. Yeah. 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 And so there was this fear of, you know, can I create again? Will I create again? And so Ohmek, what I'm doing now, you know, in the past 4 years, I deeply immersed in training, of trauma training, and working with people in a restorative, sacred way, and running groups and teaching. I teach quite a bit now, and the growth or the birth of Ohmek has been very different. It's slow, it's steady. I'm desiring more space to allow things to unfold, not from this place of like, it has to happen, but just from like, what's emerging, what wants to arise, you know, what wants to become, and it's so creative. It's so creative. You know, from like the logistical, the like, how do we hold a Friday night minyan in our house that feels warm and inviting and spiritual, but still halachic, but still has room for me to kind of hold the sacred space, but is not off-putting for, you know, but also innovate all these things and more and more and more. And so there's just so much more room.
Right. So from from Lamplighters, when it fell apart, you didn't see what was next. It was
No,
it was
no,
just
no,
it
no, no.
was
No, there were kernels of it. I was studying meditation, Jewish meditation, Reb Daniel Katz, and that was like a really important path for me. I knew I wanted to get back into the healing arts. This is kind of like where I started in some way. And, you know, I met the teacher that I'm with right now, Thomas Hubel, who's a huge portal for me, and I'm still studying with him and hundreds of people in this path. And so it's not at all what I would imagine. And I'll say, like, and just give you an example of Hashem as like the ultimate artist. And 25 years ago, I was a PhD student. I never thought I would ever go back to academia. After Lamplighters, I got hired to be an advisor on research looking at the gender gap in leadership in Orthodox communities. So what is the experience of female Orthodox community leaders?
right.
And that was really interesting, and obviously I have a perspective on that, and that led to a foundation being started, and that led to a conference being established. And here I am, a few months ago, sitting at this conference and experiencing this really interesting workshop, and got hit with this desire to go back into my PhD. And turns out, through the past 4 years, the work I've been doing with Thomas and studying trauma, I can enter into this amazing PhD program in transpersonal research. So the research of states of consciousness and mysticism, which is so in line with what I love, the study of, and it's like, I never thought I would be back.
Right.
And Hashem took me on such a wild path. I mean, there's so many more details to it, but this sense of, just this, the canvas is so much bigger than we can even imagine.
Yes.
We feel our lives as a particular piece, and some of us have more space, more consciousness, more awareness. We can see a bit more, we can zoom out more, but the actual canvas is huge.
Yeah. And when we're so hyper-focused on one thing, we don't allow ourselves to see all the other possibilities.
Yeah, and then there are these moments where it's like, for even just a glimpse, we can zoom out.
Right.
And it's like, wow. So much gratitude, and to be back in study and be back in something that really suits me where I am right now, and to not feel like I can't. I mean, I won't give too much away, but you'll be very proud of me, because some of my research is studying space, not like outer space, but like spaciousness, as it relates the mystical properties of space. And I would love to use balloons as like metaphors for collapsed space and expand and have all these ideas. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like this integration. I could like see the images of these balloons. Maybe you'll...
I'd love to. I'd love to play.
That, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are the sum total of everything that's happened to us till now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when every experience is another brick, it's not a destruction. It's a, my mother says she's fascinated. She's blown away by where I am and what I'm up to, and what her vision for me as a child and our background, and it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, and I'm busy looking forward. So like I don't have the same perspective that she had of of the past, of holding this little child and wondering what the future will be.
Exactly.
But one thing along those lines, what excites me is, in my story with the Rebbe, inviting us or to stay in Crown Heights for 4.5 years, and who I've become from there, and now every success I have, or every not a success but ideas and the directions I'm going, like, wow, never saw that in me.
Yeah.
I never saw that. Like, I get surprised by,
Yeah.
So yeah, we continue to,
That's amazing.
everything that it has been is one more sort of feather in our cap. It's not about an achievement or not. It's about,
One more layer of the unfolding.
yeah, to propel us forward.
Yeah. Propel us deeper.
Deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
I look forward to coming back for more and to seeing and to following your journey. And
Yeah, I still have that part of me that's like wants to hurry up. When is this place going to be finished? I want to host retreats already, or like I was telling you before, I need that thing that's like on the edge. Like, what's my next on the edge? And also now there's another voice in the room.
yeah.
And the people that I meet now, or that I'm getting to know more in this stage of my life, I'm like, if you would have known me in my 30s, like if you'd have known me in my Lamplighters era.
Yeah, well, coming up here to the country, I think slows you down.
Absolutely.
Relative to Brooklyn and minute to minute. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
It's good.
And it's also been really beautiful. There's another sort of side story is, as I was in Lamplighters and also developing my own voice and the writing and the community building and advocacy, my husband was building his lighting business.
Right.
And so watching him emerge in his creativity.
Yeah.
And his artistry.
Which is beautiful.
Beautiful, and claiming himself as a designer. It's been also really quite beautiful to see and feel that as well. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a certain element of also our age where we're at. Is that we don't need to prove to the world or to ourselves as much.
Right.
And, as much as I say I'm still as young as I want to be, but there's certain, the maturity of being able to slow down, of breathing, of allowing things to be instead of forcing things to happen.
Exactly.
So,
moving from doing to being, as I say.
Yeah. All right. So what does the next 10 years have in store for us?
I definitely have some ideas.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
Did you want to ask me?
So I have two scripted questions.
Okay.
This is an open conversation, but two scripted questions.
Okay.
Number one is, who are 3 creatives that you think the audience should know? And you mentioned a whole bunch of them, so.
I mentioned a whole bunch, right? Well, there's 3 artists that come to mind. Can I say 4?
Sure.
Okay.
I say 3 so that it's not.
Yeah, it's one popped in my head right now, and I feel like I want to include that person too.
You can do 7 if you really want.
No, we'll do 4. So, if you've been to my home in Brooklyn, I have more than one, but I have one very prominent in my home, a painting by Sam Griffin.
Yes.
It's of somebody going into the mikveh. And I also have a painting that I commissioned from him of the desert. It's in my room. Sam, I just love Sam. I think his work is magnificent. I think he's an incredible person. He was just in town and he came to visit us, and I told him, I said, your work is so beautiful, but it's like him. Yeah. So Sam is someone that I really feel like in support of and connected to. Young painter who lives in Florida, Chai Toran.
Yes.
I have a piece of her work that's coming here. Deep, sweet, integrous, beautiful work. I feel like she's cultivating her unique voice, seeing the world, and I appreciate her. This also young Chabad woman, writer, Mushka Edelman, who I follow on Instagram. I met her a couple of times. She's really raw. Her writing reminds me of my earlier writing. There's something about her that I kind of recognize.
Nice.
And I like it. I like what she's putting out there. And then this other guy that I follow that I also really feel moved by his work, Israeli spoken word artist. His name is Roy Kornblum. You may have seen he had something that went viral with 0.2%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just, he comes out with these amazing videos of him in spoken word, but pretty edgy topics touching Jewish identity and life as an Israeli, and I just deeply appreciate it. I appreciate the artistry. I think he's good. He's good, and I love work that makes me think, feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are four
Okay.
my picks.
All right, thank you. We're gonna get the links. We'll put them down in the show
Good,
notes
good,
to find,
good, very
to find
good.
all of them.
Oh,
Absolutely.
good.
Okay, and the last question that we close out is, what's your advice to young creatives for them to find their orange socks?
For them to find their orange socks. Oh, what's your advice? Have a place in your life where you can be messy, where there's enough safety to ideate, to throw spaghetti on the wall, to get messy, to say something stupid, to dream something really big, to speak into your biggest dream, to imagine yourself on the biggest stage, whatever it is, have that place where you could just let it go unfiltered. Even if you're like voice noting into your phone, even if just allow the energy to move. And the other thing I would say is to spend time in silence. I think that meditation and silence is it's sacred medicine that we have thousands of years of deep reverence for, and I think cultivating our artistry needs us to have deep intimacy with our inner world. That's the well that we're drawing on, and when we don't have the space to turn in, then the well gets dried. Yes, the world, right? We get excited, we hear something, but like, what is your relationship with your deep inner well? And that, I feel like silence is a really important part of that. So sometimes turn off the radio, sometimes take out the AirPods, sometimes just be with. Yeah.
Amazing. Yocheved, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
היום נעשה משהו בלתי נשכח